Hey everyone, Warwick's here. So you might notice that things sound a little bit different. Shoutouts to HyperX for the new microphone that I just received. Let me tilt you down just a little bit and you can see right there, brand new microphone. So that's why audio is a little bit different on this video today. So today we're going to be looking at the Arms Warrior for the next sort of video in our DPS review and pre-patch of some certain DPS specs that I'm doing. So as a reminder, I'm not doing all DPS specs. We've got Frost, Fury, Arms, Unholy DK, Feral Druid, and Windwalker Monk. Those will be the only specs that I'm looking at for the time being, mainly because I don't have enough time before Shadowlands release to look at all these specs, and B, I'm not efficient enough at all the DPS specs to be able to give it a good judge on whether or not it's actually good or not. As for Arms Warrior, it definitely is a spec that hasn't changed a lot coming out of BFA. It is a spec that I'm really thinking is going to be good, but maybe not great. There are moments in BFA Uldir, for example, where it was kind of at its peak for this entire expansion. A little bit in Neolotha as well, where it was just really, really strong for a variety of different reasons. From a gameplay, kind of how it feels perspective, Arms feels pretty good. It is definitely slow. So if you're used to playing a fast-paced spec like Fury, or you are, playing something that generally has a high pace like Windwalker Monk, Feral Druid, even Frost and Unholy DK you're tending to do a lot. Frost, you are going to have some natural gaps in the rotation. I don't think this is a bad thing. It allows things like Covenant abilities to easily slide into some of the gaps that you have. I don't think a slower playstyle is necessarily bad if the damage that you're doing is able to keep up. So if you're doing like a Death by 1,000 Cuts playstyle, so Windwalker Monk, for example, that is perfectly good. If you're doing a slower playstyle, think Marksmanship Hunter and Arms Warrior, then you definitely want to make sure that when you are hitting that it is very impactful. So big crits on Mortal Strike, big crits on Aim Shot for Marksmanship Hunters. As long as that's being met, then I think the spec is going to be in a good place, which here it is. Now, I'll be honest, in the video that you're going to watch, this is a Mythic Plus Dungeon Waycrest that I did with just Newell on his Shadow Priest. The damage I did sucks because I'm not a good Arms Warrior. So the damage that I do in this compared to what I was doing, say, in the Fury video is going to be drastically different. But Arms, I think, is a spec that is okay. It still needs some, I think, fundamental tweaks, which we probably won't see until 9.1. And we'll take a look at the talent build that I'm running here. So let's start off with Skull Splitter, just as an on-demand rage generator, which when the spec feels as slow as it does, you sometimes can be rage starved. This is good. Sudden Death, I think, will have a place once you get more stats, more haste in particular. War Machine is going to be really good for leveling. In the 25 row, you can pick any of these. Impending Victory is good as a on-demand heal, which is something that Arms still lacks, is good defensive tools. But Double Mobility, Double Charge, and Stormbolt are still going to be niche. Pick any of these for the situation you feel like you need. On the 30 row, Massacre, again, may have use. Think of a fight like Cahoon, where he went into this vulnerability phase at, I think it was 30%. Massacre became very important on a fight like that. Outside of that, Fervor Battle makes Whirlwind your filler ability. Rend is just a dot you maintain. And then when you do crit, it does increase critical damage. So if there's a lot of crit scaling inside Arms, don't be surprised to see Rend there. 35, again, you can pick anything. Defensive Stance is another good defensive ability. Reduce damage by 20%. Downside is that you deal less damage. Bounding Stride gives you a little bit of a lower that. And then Second Wind is just heal whenever you don't take damage, which I don't see where this is good outside of leveling. On the 40 row, I think this is the one that is the most controversial. Cleave replaces Sweeping Strikes, and it also consumes your overpower effects on mortal to empower your mortal strikes. So you have to be very, very careful with this ability. This was a thing I think I was not the biggest fan of. I will probably talent back into Warbreaker, which is just AoE Colossus Smash. Collateral Damage has interesting possibilities on big AoE, but I don't know if the numbers on making Sweeping Strikes I'm trying to think of how to say this, on making Sweeping Strikes a big buffer to an ability when Sweeping Strikes is only basically up at once every other minute. On the 45 tier, I think all three of these are pretty good. In for the Kill is good for the haste buff, especially when you're at lower stats. And particularly in the execute phase, which is where Arms really shines. Avatar, just a flat 20% damage increase, which is fine, and generates some rage. Deadly Calm reduces the rage cost of your next 4 abilities by 100%, so this could be used in combination with Execute, which would be really good, and it gives you just a passive 130 rage, which is not bad at all, especially if you're trying to load up on 40 rage executes in an execute phase. So again, niche. On the 50 row, I used Anger Management just because it gets you more Colossus Smash and Blade Storms, but Dreadnought giving you over 2 charges of Overpower could be good if you're trying to learn the rotation. Ravager's really good for burst AoE. I'd maybe like to see Ravager replace the Warbreaker and make Warbreaker just the baseline ability. Make Colossus Smash disappear, Warbreaker be the one, because it's useful on single target and it's useful on AoE. And I'd like to see Ravager maybe go here. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and get you on into this Waycrest dungeon. I think it was a pretty low level dungeon, only like +3 or 4, so Newall's way over geared for it, and this guy is probably properly geared for it. So I'll see you on the other side, guys, and we'll wrap up thoughts on arms, and we'll discuss kind of what we're moving on to next.
Welcome home, daughter. I see you brought guests.
Don't you dare call me daughter, witch!
Such insolence! Wait until your father hears of this. In the meantime, I leave you in the care of my servants.
Come back and face my steel!
Ace! Running off seems like a bad idea. We have more of a plan than that. Right?
Heroes, your strength is needed. We must see this evil brought to an end.
We'll investigate the grounds while you dispatch her servants. Good hunting.
I can tell I haven't played this in a while. I don't remember where all my buttons are at.
Yeah, once you do bigger pulls, then I'm okay.
Oh, I probably should have saved that Blade Storm.
Yeah, I fucked up my rotation so that hunter destroyed me.
He's also eye level 125.
Yeah, I'm like 124, dude.
Oh, I'm over here at like eye level 96 thinking I'm a big person, so. Yeah, I still can't hear you, Pads.
Make sure Lady Waycrest pays dearly for this foul.
Yeah, I wish you knew 2 pads.
Yeah, I can tell I haven't played in a while. Not doing so hot as far as DPS goes.
Yeah, I'm not doing well either. I'm just at all. Like it's night and day between what I do on Fury versus what I'm doing on this.
Yeah, it seems like with the spec that I'm in right now, like smaller pulls kind of hurt. As far as like damage I can output.
Wonder if they'll figure out that we have to go upstairs. Or not. Wow, okay.
Yeah, well, I got ads from behind, so.
Just keep running them. Oh, I mistimed that. I know I'm disappointing pads right now.
Oh, I got cooldowns going, you guys are fucked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just killed the healer, dude.
I hate that people don't realize, like, the hunter should have gotten you. Like, that should have been the end of the conversation. But no.
Yeah, I don't think I did that much damage while I was there, but yeah, I definitely killed the healer.
Continue your hunt for Lady Waycrest. I will ensure these rooms are clear.
Oh, he pulled him right back out of my range. What an idiot. What an asshole. Considering I'm running no Azurite traits and I'm super under-geared for arms, I don't feel like I'm doing terribly. Pads can correct me on that.
Somebody pull from upstairs.
Seems so. Balance. You know, I'm just gonna let him solo that stuff, right?
Nah, we're running back.
I don't know why I did this. We didn't need this count.
When they learn of the horrors my family has committed.
I trust you. Anyone else gives you problems, a swift crack to the head will remedy the issue.
I think he forgets about the mobs after the way crests.
Thank you. Once this is over, we should discuss a position as my new house diplomat.
That's the build pads I'm running. I grabbed that straight from the guide, just for the record pads.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys are fucking around because it's like they're waiting until the thing's about to go off and then spreading the plague just to see what happens, I think.
Probably to test their healer.
At long last, the nightmare is over.
Foolish child, you lack vision. Death is an inevitable force that stalks you at every turn.
Gorak,
Did you get a look at that build pads?
Possible. My ancestors defeated you ages ago.
Your ancestors wiped out my people, but they could not destroy my vengeance. Quickly, burn it! Quickly, burn it!
Do rallying cry just for the shits and giggles of it all. Oh, this is tyrannical weak pad, so I probably should have switched that out, so good to know. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, Arms Warrior is a spec that I think has good potential. I think it's going to rely a lot on borrowed power to be really, really good, and that is concerning. Could I play it if I were to be a main DPS warrior? I could. Fury is still a spec that I think I prefer more than Arms. If I had to power rank these two specs against each other, I'm definitely picking Fury over Arms. Fury definitely carries a lot of why Warrior is probably going to be my fourth character in Shadowlands. But Arms definitely has a lot of potential build in there, and just some things that I really want to kind of see what happens when you get higher stats. All right, so next up we're going to get Feral Druid and Windwalker Monk finished up. That'll be the last 2 specs. So until then, everyone, I hope you stay safe, wear your mask, and I will see you next time.